Hey there, Agile Adventurer. Just a quick question. What if, for the price of a fancy coffee or half a pizza, you could unlock over 700 hours of the best Agile content on the planet? That's audio, video, e-courses, books, presentations, all that you can think of. But you can also join live calls with world-class practitioners and hang out in a flame war-free and AI slop-clean Slack with the sharpest minds in the game. Oh, and yes, you get direct access to me, Vasco, your Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. No, this is not a drill. It's the Scrum Master Toolbox membership. And it's your unfair advantage in the Agile world. So if you want to know more, go check out scrummastertoolbox.org/membership. That's scrummastertoolbox.org/membership. And check out all the goodies we have for you. Do it now. But if you're not doing it now, let's listen to the podcast. Hello, everybody. Welcome to one more week of the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast. And this week, joining us from the UK is Nigel Baker. Hey, Nigel, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So, Nigel is a seasoned Agile coach with a keen intellect, warm creativity, and thoughtful humor. You will see a lot of that this week, I'm sure, with a career spanning software engineering, consultancy, and global training. He inspires teams to thrive, not just perform. Outside work, he loves bold ideas, good conversation, and a life well lived. So, Nigel, that was a short intro. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and how did you end up becoming a Scrum Master?
So, I love being a Scrum Master. I loved being a Scrum Master. I'll say that to my dying day. I really enjoyed it. I kind of fell into Scrum Mastery, is the best way to say it. So now we're winding right back to the start of Agile, let alone Scrum. So this is like 2002. Okay. So as a team, I'm working in what we would call a tactical unit for a large scale British telecommunications company, right? But I won't name them. BT. There we go. But I work for British Telecom. As a graduate, I've been there about 10 years. I was a developer, a software developer. Now, the arm of the business I was in was called Fast Track, and it was tactical delivery. And the reason it existed is because BT was a telephone company that used to be part of the UK government. It was nationalized. It used to be part of our post office. So it was slow. Unbelievably slow. Nice place to work. Lovely place to work, but slow. So they developed up this whole tactical arm to basically, okay, we haven't got 2 years. What we're going to build in the short term to cover the 2 years. Now, the problem with this tactical arm was a lot of people used it strategically. So, because if it's going to take you 2 years to do something, they'll just order it off us. Alas, if you've ever seen the film Pirates of the Caribbean, right? Because I come from Bristol in the UK, in England, which is where pirates come from. Treasure Island was set here. And you've never seen a bigger bunch of pirates than the people in Fast Track. These are people who can get stuff done, but oh, how they got it done. And so the most eclectic, exciting, weird and wonderful collection of individuals who could do stuff, right? Rebels, pirates, and everything in between. I was not one of those people, by the way. I was one of the people internally going, oh, can we not do it like that? Suffice to say, we start doing Agile very early. We've got a project. It's going poorly. It's behind times. The classic, the project manager lost control. It got weeks behind schedule. And one of our developers, a contractor, said, hey, we should try this Scrum thing. It's really good. It's really popular in America. Spoiler alert, it wasn't popular in America. No one had heard of it. Right? But ignorance is a fantastic defense against obstacles. If you don't know something's impossible, it's possible. So we start doing Scrum and we look great. My first Scrum Master, who actually now is very famous, Geoff Watts, he was our first, he did one of the first Scrum courses on earth and came back and said, hey, we should do this. We started doing it. We look great. Right? Now, the company And Geoff won't mind me saying this. The company loved Geoff. Oh my God, they loved Geoff. They thought Geoff was brilliant. They thought Geoff did this all on his own. So Geoff got sort of taken off and moved ahead and promoted again and moved on. And so there became a space for Scrum Master. And they said to me, would you like to be Scrum Master? Right? Now, I found out years later, I was the third person to be asked.
Okay, well, that's good to discover years later, by the way.
So they asked John McNeil, who was the guy who introduced Scrum, do you want to do it? And he said, no, I'm a developer. I hate the idea. They asked another colleague of ours, Steph, does he want to do it? And he said, no, I'm a developer. I hate the idea. And they said, Nigel, do you want to do it? And I said, sounds great. Like, is it more money? And it may have been a bit
probably
more.
Not.
Yeah, probably not, but it may have been. But, and so I took it on. And I loved it to bits. I really enjoyed it. I had a real great time doing it. And then that's how it got going, really. And I remember telling people, I'm a Scrum Master. And they're like, what's that? And yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's not something you would bring up at a dinner party for sure.
No.
Or you would, just to provoke people. Yeah. But Nigel, so when you got into that role, and I can already see the group of pirates, all mostly developer focused, wanting to get things done quickly. I can already see the opportunities for chaos. But maybe the story you have for us next is not from there. I don't know. So I'll just ask the question. What is that one story of failure that you bring with you today to recall one of those critical lessons you learned back then?
Yeah, because we actually did Scrum to gain rigor, not to gain speed. So like most organizations are like, we're so slow. And in fact, BT started spreading Agile across the entire company after us because they loved the idea so much. But a lot of that was, we need to speed up a very slow process. When with us, it was kind of like putting some guide rails on some can-do people to stop them doing so much can, to try and get it going in the right direction. Okay. And so, it's really funny because my Scrum Master experience has actually always been pretty good. It's been pretty good. There's not been many lumps and bumps. When I made the jump to Agile Coach, that's when we got crashes and burns. A lot of them. Because you start, you know what you're like as a new Scrum Master. You work together, you evolve a process together, you get to a good spot, and then the classic Scrum Master mistake, which we may come to later, is thinking that version that you've evolved has cross applicability, like copying and pasting it across other teams, and that is what killed me to begin with, trying to recreate the results of our team, not recreate the journey. And so that's really, really interesting. In terms of actual failures as Scrum Master, my favorite one, I've mentioned this probably 1,000 times, but I did, because this was so new, there was no literature out there about bad Scrum, like there's not all the videos about bad Scrum Mastery and what bad Scrum Masters do. So on my very first daily Scrum, right, and bearing in mind, this is so long ago, we're all sat down. And you know how people sit down in scrums again now, but it's taken 20 years to get there. Like, so there's no standing up. I got a big leather book. I booked for my local stationers, nice big leather serious book, opened it up, and I wrote down what every single team member was doing. Wrote it all down in this lovely little book. So what are you doing next, Steph? What are you doing, John? Sabrina? And I wrote it all down, thinking like I'm some sort of like proto-project manager. Like I'm here to lead them and tell them what to do, right? And it's such a silly thing to do.
Flesh and blood database.
Yeah, well, it's like, the worst thing is like, we've already got this all written down. So what was interesting is, and again, you see how the world changes. In BT, they had this homebrew requirement system they built internally, like a website, right? And we got them to change it to make it agile. And it was called ARMS. Right now, it was cheap, cheerful, and better than Jira to this day, because it was just simple and configurable. And so people were writing in ARMS, and we've got the information. Like the only reason, basically, what I don't know what I was thinking. If I knew what I was thinking, it was probably something like, "Ooh, I'm the boss, basically, like probably something along those lines.
Controlling everything.
Yeah, not consciously. It wasn't like I thought of myself as their leader, but I just there's a subconscious vibe there about them telling me what they're doing. And that's a classic mistake made. I'm there for them. They're not there for me.
That's actually interesting, because I have another take on writing things down. So let me put that hear your thoughts. When I started as a Scrum Master, I was a project manager, recovering project manager, as I usually say. And I found it very hard to stay silent during the daily meeting. Extremely hard. So in order to try to stay silent, but still stay focused, I actually started doing what you were doing at the time, which was writing everything down. Now, I wasn't writing it for record or I was just writing to make sure I heard what was being said, and I wasn't tempted to talk because I wasn't able to write and talk at the same time. And I think it can be a great, even meditation practice for the Scrum Master in that daily meeting to stay focused on what's being shared without, and this is the other thing, without attracting other people's eyes, because at the time we were all co-located, because otherwise people will start looking at you and talking to you instead of talking to each other. What do you think about that?
Well, this is really interesting as well, because how do you stay focused on the conversation without drawing focus to yourself in that conversation? So I remember basically on the first coaching experiences I had, maybe about the first half dozen, another guy, the project manager used to be, was writing things down, right? So I wandered over and had a look, and he was doodling, just drawing. And he's not doing that because he's disinterested. He's doing that because that helped him focus on the conversation. It helped just give him hands something to do so he could really hear. But I realized with a lot of things it's about how you appear, not just about what you're doing. So for instance, like when I'm trying to pay attention, and you may see it, by the way, on this video, I will look away. It's not that I'm distracted by something. It's because I'm trying to focus my ears, reduce the stimulation so I can really hear the conversation. Right? Now, actually, in a daily scrum, that's not a bad idea, as long as you're focusing on something that doesn't look disinterested. So if you're looking up at the football results, you look like you don't care.
Yeah, you're looking out the window, right?
Exactly. But if you focus on something in the middle distance, that can be that you're giving the sign that I am focusing. So I think I talk a lot about Scrum Mastery these days, or just leadership, is being very self-aware. You can be flawed. You can be a horribly flawed individual. But if you are self-aware of your flaws, you can mitigate and manage them, So, for instance, if you talk too much, you go, okay, I will be very consciously aware of this and do tricks, like you said, to avoid that. If I get distracted, I'll do tricks. But you have to have this awareness of yourself so that you can counter-program or balance out your behaviors so you don't give the appearance of authority, or appearance of absence of authority, like I don't care or disinterested, trying to be present whilst not in control.
Yeah,
it's like when I used to write things down, but I just used to use Post-its. So if you're listening to this and not watching it, I am holding a Post-it up. Thanks, everyone. Post-it notes. So I would use Post-it notes as a way, because they're obviously not making notes on you. I'm capturing actions or something. And we want to be able to capture actions in a format that's useful. A simple Post-it note is a great trick for that.
Especially if you put it in your forehead, just like you did now.
Just like I did. I stuck it on my forehead. But I wasn't going to mention that because actually when you stick it on your forehead, when you're bald like me, everyone out there, I've got a lovely full head of hair. Not. But when you pull it off your head, you can take some of your skin with you, which is not the most pleasant experience.
It's true.
So don't stick it there. But the idea is some sort of note-taking device that isn't note-taking, i.e. action-taking, not recording what people are doing.
That's a great point. Hey, it was a great set of tips for how to stay present, even though you want the team to be in control. So thank you for sharing that, Nigel.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I hope you liked this episode. But before you hit next episode, here's the deal. This podcast is powered by people like you, the members who wanted more than just inspiration. They wanted real tools and real connection to people who are practicing Agile every day. We're talking access to over 700 hours of Agile Gold, CTO level strategy talks, summit keynotes, live workshops, e-courses, deep dive interviews, books, and if you're into no estimates, we got the pioneers of no estimates in those deep dive interviews as well. Agile business intelligence, creating product visions, coaching your product owner courses, you name it. You'll get invites to monthly live Q&As with Agile pioneers and practitioners, plus a private Slack community, which is free of all of that AI slop you see everywhere, and of course, without the flame wars. It's a community of practitioners that want to learn and thrive together. It's the best place to connect with community and learn together. So if this podcast has helped you before, imagine what you will get from this podcast membership. So head on over to scrummastertoolbox.org/membership and join the community that's shaping the future of Agile. And we have so much for you. So check out all the details at scrummastertoolbox.org/membership, because listening is great, it's important, but doing it together, that's next level. I'll see you in the community Slack. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.